Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. In every episode of Bolus 4, Jenny Smith and I are going to take a few minutes to talk through how to bolus for a single item of food. Jenny and I are going to follow a little bit of a roadmap called Meal Bolt. Measure the meal, evaluate yourself, add the base units, layer a correction, build the bolus shape, offset the timing, look at the CGM, tweak for next time. Having said that, these episodes are going to be very conversational and not incredibly technical. We want you to hear how we think about it, but we also would like you to know that this is kind of the pathway we're considering while we're talking about it. So while you might not hear us say every letter of Meal Bolt in every episode, we will be thinking about it while we're talking. If you want to learn more, go to juiceboxpodcast.com/meal-bolt. But for now, we'll find out how to bolus for today's subject. Please don't forget that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. A huge thanks to my longest sponsor, Omnipod. Check out the Omnipod 5 now with my link, omnipod.com/juicebox. You may be eligible for a free starter kit, a free Omnipod 5 starter kit at my link. Go check it out, omnipod.com/juicebox. Terms and conditions apply. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. Jenny, we are going to do pancakes.
Oh, pancakes.
Now, we have two different pancakes sitting here. We have the ones for those of you who are in the grocery store buying the Betty Crocker Bisquick Shake and Pour pancakes, and don't put your heads down. Stay proud. I know you'd buy them out there. Jenny, do you even know what this is? It's a plastic bottle that you pour water in, and then you shake it up, and you have pancake mix when it's over. You don't know this?
I didn't know that they made them that way. I thought you still had the powdery stuff that you had to mix in a real bowl at home. I did not know.
You can buy it like that too. This is next level. I'm not going to say lazy, but this is next level easy. Okay. Like it's a plastic jug. You pour cold water and you shake it up. You have mix. Mm-hmm. I have tried to bolus for them and it ain't easy. So like I could do it, but it's not easy. It takes pre-bolusing, it takes extended boluses, it takes increased basal over top of like eating, and Arden does not use syrup with sugar in it. As a matter of fact, she oddly eats pancakes dry sometimes.
Just plain.
She won't even put butter on them sometimes. Now, I have those. We're going to look at those. But then I also have a very simple to make on your own pancake recipe that has been on my blog for years that does not cause any consternation the way the mixes do. But let us start with the mix nonetheless.
And that's interesting. I'd expect from both of them in the extended nature of insulin need after. It's not the upfront, but it's the long term would be because of the way that you cook them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know why, but like all I know is simple ingredients that are real seem to be. Listen, they're still pancakes. It's not like bolusing for, watercress.
But I would expect your recipe is real flour, right? It doesn't have all of the added preservatives.
It doesn't. And I do spend a little extra money when I buy flour in the house. It's a little better, but it's got butter. You'll hear it when you hear it. But let's start with let me turn to a new clean page on the
shaking bottle.
Let's start with the Betty Crocker Bisquick Shake and Pour Buttermilk Pancake Mix, 10.6 ounces. A serving size is this is hilarious. A half a cup of mix is a serving size, and they're calling that 3 pancakes.
And is that dry mix before you've mixed it with the liquid ingredients? That's the next question.
I think if it's 3, I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. So let's look on it's 10.6 ounces.
That would be my consideration. It's that you've got a half a cup of dry mix, and what you add to it liquid wise, it sounds like it's just water. You don't have to add milk or other nutrient containing foods.
It is
so
just
if it's
water.
just water, the whole container I would expect takes a certain amount. So if you break it down to a half a cup of the dry mix, how much water goes in that probably makes does it give a diameter?
I don't, Jenny, I have to be honest. I think it might mean the
True
mix
liquid?
with the liquid in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because it's saying there's 5. I'm trying to think of I have used this before. So 5 servings of a half a cup. Yeah, I bet you there's about 2.5 cups of liquid in there.
In the container. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say that this means a half a cup of the actual mixed.
These are some tiny
concoction.
pancakes, man.
Well, that was my point, is that this is where they're
Like 3 pancakes. It's got to be like
pancakes.
3 inches across.
Exactly. They got to be the tiniest goddamn pancakes you've ever seen in your life, is my point. So again, this is where they're going to mess you up, because no one's making a pancake that's 2.5 inches across.
No.
So anyway, a grain of salt on the serving size, but let's just say, why don't we just say that you eat half of the container? That makes sense. Okay. So let's call
5
it
servings in the container.
Yeah, there's 5 servings in the container. You're going to have, let's just say you're going to have 2 of them. You're going to have 2 servings. So this is 6 grams of fat. It is, where are the carbs? Oh, it's 90 carbs. 45 for a serving. 45 for a serving. So 90 for 2 servings. You're getting 90 carbs. You're getting 6 grams of fat. A lot of
protein?
A lot of sodium, by the way. You're going to see almost 1,000 milligrams of sodium.
Wow.
480 for a serving. Fiber, a gram for a serving, so 2 grams. Sugars, including 9 grams of added sugars, you're getting 10 grams of sugar in a serving, so 20 grams of sugar in that. Because there is, most of it's added, actually. They are adding a lot of sugar to it. Protein 6, so you're getting 12 protein total.
Okay.
Don't worry, there's calcium and iron in them. You're going to live forever.
Good.
The ingredients are enriched flour, bleached wheat flour, malted barley flour, niacin, iron, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, sugar, defatted soy flour. I don't know what that means. Leavening agents like baking soda, sodium, aluminum phosphate, and monocalcium phosphate. There's also palm oil, dextrose, buttermilk, salt, something that's called datem, but it's all in caps. That scares me for some reason. I'm going to look that up later. Contains wheat, soy, and milk ingredients. Okay. Well, let us go to our breakdown list. We have measured our meal. Our meal is 90 grams of carbs. We are 1 unit for 10, so that's going to be 9 units of insulin. We're going to evaluate ourselves. Again, this is the morning. I would have to say another evaluation here is, how many people are making pancakes and not putting bacon or some sort of like a breakfast meat with it, which is, I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but that's going to hold up the whole thing.
Well, and I think in the realm of, again, your listening body, a lot of people are actually trying to do that. They may not have before, but they may be trying to do that to mitigate the impact of what they expect the pancakes to do.
Yeah,
right?
I'm saying the issue there is you're trying to add protein with it. So in the morning, protein might mean bacon, and then bacon is going to mean fat, and then you're going to have, you're going to get the lift from the fat later too.
Right.
Okay, calculate our food bolus. We've done that. We have 9 units. What do you think, Jenny? You wake up in the morning, it's Saturday morning, you are having the experience that Arden's been having lately. A hot shower is shooting her blood sugar up. Never used to happen. All of a sudden, hot showers, boom. She's going.
And it's not just her CGM that's being weird. It's actual bifinger stick. She's rising too.
She's jumping up in hot showers lately. Okay, so you get out of the shower, you come downstairs. Mom, it's Saturday. What are we doing? You're lucky I'm a great parent. I've bought you a bottle of pancakes. And again, I've made them. So, if there's shade, it's for everybody.
There you go.
And my blood sugar is 150.
Oh.
Now, I need a half a unit to move the blood sugar, probably more.
Is your blood sugar still rising according to the CGM trend, or is it stable at 150?
Let's call it stable just to make this easy.
Okay.
So I need a correction for my 1 unit moves as 10 carbs, 1 unit moves as 100. points. That's for our examples. So now I'm looking at a 9.5 unit meal bolus. And what I hear from people all the time is like, oh, big boluses scare me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that people look at that and go, that's a lot. Like, I don't know if I'm going to put all that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I think your rule of thumb here for double whatever you find works for you. So if you found, like Jenny used in other examples, if 12 minutes is a good pre-bolus for you for something like this, you're going to need 25 minutes. This episode is brought to you by Omnipod. Would you ever buy a car without test driving it first? That's a big risk to take on a pretty large investment. You wouldn't do that, right? So why would you do it when it comes to choosing an insulin pump? Most pumps come with a 4-year lock-in period through the DME channel, and you don't even get to try it first. But not Omnipod 5. Omnipod 5 is available exclusively through the pharmacy, which means it doesn't come with a typical 4-year DME lock-in period. Plus, you can get started with a free 30-day trial to be sure it's the right choice for you or your family. My daughter has been wearing an Omnipod every day for 17 years. Are you ready to give Omnipod 5 a try? Request your free starter kit today at my link, omnipod.com/juicebox. Terms and conditions apply. Eligibility may vary. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. Find my link in the show notes of this podcast player or at juiceboxpodcast.com.
Mm-hmm. And the bolus size really does scare you. A stepping stone to getting there, if you really love this product, would really be do that 25-minute pre-bolus with half of what the bolus recommended is. If it's 9 units, take 4.5. Take that with the pre-bolus. Yeah. And then as soon as you start eating, take the other. Because we all know the insulin action time is not right here and now as it's delivered. Right. It still takes a little build-up time to get it working. So it's a strategy that while it may not be beneficial for keeping your blood sugar under 180, at least you're getting the whole bolus without as much fear is truly what's in the picture.
Yeah. I'm going to say, just from a person who's, raised a kid with type 1 diabetes, I like Carrie's sugar-free syrup. Of all the ones that we've tried over the years, that one seems to taste the most like syrup.
Carrie's?
Yeah, Carys. Do you have one that you tell people about?
There are 2 that I think have quality flavor, which I've heard from a couple of people they really don't like. One of them, the Lakanto brand. I don't have an issue with the flavor of it. The other one is the RX Sugar. That one has a really nice maple sugar. It's allulose, sort of non-sugar alternative kind of in it. So those tend to work well. I've never seen an issue with the RX sugar. While there are, again, on all of these alternative sugars, carb counts on them, probably like the Carys. I don't know if Arden has to count any of the carb grams on there, but I don't for the RX sugar, but I'm also not eating like a half a cup of it.
I don't see the Carys doesn't add rocket fuel to pancakes for her. So
okay,
I take that as a
sign
win.
That she probably doesn't need to cover it.
Now, listen, I happen to know because during COVID, I went on an extensive research to find out why the waffles at a local diner were so good. I was really bored during COVID, and I found out what syrup they were using. So I'm going to tell you that the one you get in a diner that you probably think of as tasting good has a serving size of 2 tablespoons, which no person in the history of the world has ever used on pancakes, but let's just say 2 tablespoons. Not only are you going to get 100 calories from that, but you are going to get 26 grams of carbs from 2 tablespoons of this. If you're doing 90 grams worth of pancakes and a quarter of a cup of syrup, which I'm still being generous for people, but let's say it's
another 52 grams.
Yes. It's another 52 grams of insulin, of carbs, which is now putting I'm going to have to do some math here. That's 142. Is that 14 plus the correction? That's just about 15 units for that then, if you're going to put.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Jenny's like, I haven't taken 15 years of insulin in 3 days.
That's not true, but not all at once. Oh my God.
My point is that you can't come online all the time and tell me, I don't know how to bolus for pancakes if you're not addressing them for what they really are. That's all. Like you're going to have to come at it for what it really is. You can't say, oh, that number seems too big, or I've never bolused that much before. Like this is what it is.
And I think a valuable piece to point out too is, you brought up a Waffle House waffle, right? Let's say you have figured out your pancakes at home. You know the portion size, you know exactly what goes into them. When you go to your local pancake place, it will be different. Is it a little easier to swag the pancakes you're eating? Sure, because you have something that you've figured out to work, but also your pancakes at home might be 4 inches, and this pancake that comes out to you now is the whole plate, right? And so then you end up, let's say you swag it pretty good in terms of the grams of carb, but now in terms of worry about that amount of insulin, you put that in your pump and you're like, my gosh, 14 units of insulin. I usually take 5 for what I eat at home.
Yeah.
What you need is what you need, right? Based on how much you're eating and how much you're calculating. So as long as your insulin to carb ratio is the same, sure, you might use 5 units at home, but you may very well need the 14 units because of the difference in portion.
I would say that, when we talk about, looking at your CGM down the line an hour, 3 hours, and evaluating what happens so you can tweak it for next time. If that amount of insulin scares you to the point where you're like, I just can't do all of that. Like, I don't not understand. But then when you're doing your evaluation and you end up having to make a correction, look at that insulin. Like the amount that you used to correct with, is that the amount you skipped in the initial bolus? Like, is it close? Like that'll help you get to the idea of what you actually need. I'm not saying run out there and make some super aggressive bolus. Like you might be the person who doesn't need it. Like, like you're going to have to work into this, but this is the thought process for going through this. And I'll just say here at the end, if you go to juiceboxpodcast.com and type pancake into the search bar, you'll get a simple recipe that I use when I make pancakes at home. It's a cup of flour. It's all-purpose flour. It has 2 tablespoons of sugar in it. And it has 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, a pinch of salt, a cup of milk, 1 large egg, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and some vanilla extract. And is it like drinking water and bolusing? It's not. It's still like pancakes, but it's not like the packaged pancakes, the box pancakes that were the.
So what is your, since you know and you have had both, what do you see is your difference in strategy, knowing that who you're feeding it, that she's still going to eat the same amount of pancakes either way, right?
She's tough because she'll grab them and then start eating and then go, give me another one of those. And some days she's like, give me some syrup. Or some days she's like, I'm just going to eat them dry. Like, so it's a little bit, the syrup's sugar-free. But what I like is I take a couple of different strategies and I throw them together. Nice long pre-bolus. It's got to be 20 minutes at least, right? I like to see a falling blood sugar when the food hits. And then I put a basil over top of the first hour at least, right? Like, because my goal is not to leave 90, right? Like, especially on stuff like this. Like, I'm more aggressive on the things that like could possibly lead you to an afternoon of 350 blood sugars.
Right.
I don't mind missing on something that goes to 160 and we have to fix it, like whatever. Like, but I don't want it to ruin the day. So I would lay a basil, like a temp basil over top of the bolus. And, Arden's using Trio right now, the do-it-yourself app. It's very simple to do. I'd put the bolus in 20 minutes before, if she had a lower stable blood sugar going in. If she came downstairs out of that hot shower and she was 170 and she said, I want pancakes, the next words that would come out of my mouth are bolus. Like before I even go to look to see if we had an egg in the refrigerator. Now, like just now, and it's momentum. Like Jenny, it's timing and amount. Like I know this is fun to break down like this, but like it's the right amount of insulin at the right time for the situation. So, and then I like that you can bail on the temp basil if you start getting too low. And then to me, the L or the look at the CGM in meal bolt, I keep watching. If I see a drift up, I'm right back on. I smack its hand like it's trying to shoplift. You know what I mean? Like right back at it again.
And with Trio, you've probably, like me, I've been using Trio for a year now. And honestly, what I've found is it's less likely to need to do that back end slapping.
Yeah. No, it does
mainly
a good job.
because it does a good job of that additive, depending on how you have your dials turned in. it does a pretty good job of hitting for you before you have to step in, which is nice because you can kind of step away for a bit, right?
In the end, it's in the podcast somewhere, Jenny, and I've talked about it. I've said it over and over again, but I leave over heavy carb situations, I lay a blanket of insulin over top of it, like a weighted blanket so it can't stand up. And in
this case, I think that weighted blanket effect, so to speak, is relative to, as I pointed out initially, both types of pancakes require cooking them in oil or butter or something.
Yeah, I do butter on the pan and very little. Like I actually butter the pan and then I wipe it off. Like, so I just don't want it to stick. That's all I care about. But I do see, you're not wrong. I've seen people look like they're deep frying their pancakes.
Yeah.
That's a more Southern thing too. I've noticed when I'm traveling sometimes too. Is that maybe Wisconsin?
Could be.
Yeah.
It could definitely be. I think it's also restaurant style is definitely heavily cooked in some type of oil or butter on the
Cracker Barrel
surface.
place. They're trying to kill you for sure.
Yes.
Actually, I guess what they're trying to do is give you enough butter that you're like, I'm coming back there one day.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is good.
But that's that long-term effect. You're not only thinking about carbs, but you're thinking about that lingering.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm going to tell you, this all changes. You add bacon to this, or we're from the Northeast, pork roll to this. And now,
eggs.
Yeah. Right. And now my checking like isn't just 1-2 hours later. Because if I get pancakes right 2 hours later, I'm done. It's good. But you add bacon or some fatty meat to it. Now it's 3 and 4 hours later. Like you still have to be looking.
Sure.
So, okay. All right. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
A huge thanks to my longest sponsor, Omnipod. Check out the Omnipod 5 now with my link, omnipod.com/juicebox. You may be eligible for a free starter kit, a free Omnipod 5 starter kit at my link. Go check it out. Omnipod.com/juicebox. Terms and conditions apply. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. In each episode of the Bolus 4 series, Jenny Smith and I are going to pick one food and talk through the bolusing for that food. We hope you find it valuable. Generally speaking, we're going to follow a bit of a formula, the meal bolt formula, MEALBOLT. You can learn more about it at juiceboxpodcast.com/meal-bolt. But here's what it is. Step 1, M, measure the meal. E, evaluate yourself. A, add the base units. L, layer a correction. B, build the bolus shape. O, offset the timing. L, look at the CGM. And T, tweak for next time. In a nutshell, we measure our meal. Total carbohydrates, protein, fat, consider the glycemic index and the glycemic load. And then we evaluate yourself. What's your current blood sugar, how much insulin's on board, and what kind of activity are you going to be involved in or not involved in? Do you have any stress, hormones, illness? What's going on with you? Then A, we add the base units. Your carbs divided by insulin to carb ratio, just a simple bolus. L, layer a correction, right? Do you have to add or subtract insulin based on your current blood sugar? Build the bolus shape. Are we going to give it all up front, 100% for a fast digesting meal, or is there going to be like a combo or a square wave bolus? Does it have to be extended? I'll set the timing. This is about pre-bolusing. Does it take a couple of minutes, this meal, or maybe 20 minutes? Are we going to have to again consider combo square wave boluses and meals? Figure out the timing of that meal. And then L, look at the CGM. An hour later, was there a fast spike? 3 hours later, was there a delayed rise? 5 hours later, is there any lingering effect from fat and protein? Tweak. Tweak for next time. T. What did you eat? How much insulin and when? What did your blood sugar curve look like? What would you do next time? This is what we're going to talk about in every episode of Bolus 4. Measure the meal, evaluate yourself, add the base units, layer a correction, build the bolus shape, offset the timing, look at the CGM, tweak for next time. But it's not going to be that confusing. And we're not going to ask you to remember all of that stuff. But that's the pathway that Jenny and I are going to use to speak about each bolus I can't thank you enough for listening. Please make sure you're subscribed or following in your audio app. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com.